Hey guys, welcome back to another Java lecture. I hope you guys are on your A game today to learn about Java conditions. Adding this concept will greatly enhance your code and increase the level of your code's abstraction. And if you remember what abstraction is, it's nothing but how much your code relates to the processes found in the real world. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, I would define a condition as something like a concept that will perform a certain action as a result of a certain statement being either true or false. In other words, if something is true or false within the code, then the compiler will perform a certain action. Now, if it sounds confusing, we'll look at a commonplace example. So, if you're sick, then you should take rest. That's a condition. If you are sick, then you should take rest. Now, let's make a connection to computer programming. Say you really are sick, then the compiler will read the if you are sick statement as true, and it will perform the action, which is take rest. Now say you're healthy, then the computer will read the statement as false, and it would not perform the take rest command. Another thing about conditions is that they normally end in brackets, like most methods, like the main method, instead of semicolons, like say maybe when you declare a variable or when you tell a system to print something. And in terms of usage, conditions can be used for a variety of different purposes. You can make sort of like a restaurant app or a calculator, basically anything. Another less fancy term for conditions is the if statement or the if else statement. And it's named like this because conditions are always written in an if form, like if the car is turned on or if you are sick. We will get to the if else part soon, but for now, think of it as an extension to the if statement. Let's look at another example of how this if else things work. Now, say there's a child. We'll call her Eve. If Eve is hungry, feed her. If Eve is thirsty, give her water. Else, let her watch TV. Take note of how I use that else statement over there. The else statement in any given condition is where the original condition in the if statement is false. So in this case, let's say Eve isn't sleepy. Then what the computer would do is overlook the designated commands, which is put her to bed, and it'll just execute normally. Now, it is important to recognize when it is necessary to put the else statement in your code, so we'll look further into that later. I also want to talk about the else if statement. So we have this else if part right here, right? So instead of adding multiple if statements like if Eve is hungry, if Eve is thirsty, if Eve is sleepy, what you can do is just declare one if statement and just add multiple else ifs after there. So we can say if Eve is hungry, then feed her. Else if Eve is thirsty, give her water. Else if Eve is sleepy, then put her to bed. So now that we have a basic understanding of this if statement, let's look into the syntax. So as you can see over here, we have the word if, and then in these parentheses we have a condition. So condition A, if so basically what this line is saying, if condition A is true, then the system will print hi. But if not, if condition A is false, then it will print bye. Now, I found this really cool image off the web, and I think this accurately depicts how if statements work. So we have an integer test here, and its value is 5. Now, if test, which is 5, is less than 10, then it will perform whatever's in here. Else, if 5 if the variable test is greater than 10, then it will perform whatever's over here. Now, if you think that the if the body will happen in this first part over here, then you are right because the condition is true, and these brackets represent all the designated commands to that little part. But if this condition was false, then the computer would perform all the actions that would be over here. So let's get coding. To our SAPP folder, and we should go into our default package. We'll right click that, Come on. And we'll create a new class. And let's name this conditions. And as always, we want to check that public main method box, because remember, we actually want to run our code, and to be able to do this, we need the main method in our code. Now we can write out the main method, but if you're like me and want things to be done for you already, go ahead and check that box and hit enter. Okay, so now that we have our class set up, we can get coding. Let's start off with the basic example. I'm going to declare a variable. We'll call it an int. Let's say int number. We'll call it number. And I'm going to give it the value 10. There. Now we're going to write a basic if condition statement. So if number, say if number is 10, and if we want to designate relationships, like if number is 10, then we'd want to use the double equal sign when it comes to int. So if number equal to 10, then do this, and then we'll write out system.print your number is equal to, and then we'll add number over here. Now let's add another else part to this. Else, and for else we also need an open and closed curly bracket. Else sysout your number is not equal to plus number. There we go. And let's run this. Your number is equal to 10. And as you can see, there's no space between the 2 and the 10, so all we have to do is just put an extra space over here. And if we were to run that again, that'll work. Okay, now let's just go ahead and put this into a multi-line comment, and to do that you just need to do backslash and asterisk, and then the same for this. So now let's look at another example, but this time instead of using an int value, let's use a string value. So we'll call this string phrase equals to, let's call this cake. Okay, because who doesn't like cake? Now let's run if condition. And the thing about string is that you don't want to use the equal to sign when you're making comparison like how you would with int over here. Instead, you'd want to use dot equals. So what we'd want to do is phrase dot equals, and as you can see, it comes up for here. Not content equals, just dot equals. Dot equals cake. Then we'll have it. Oh, it seems to be the error here. Oh, there's another parentheses. Okay. So if phrase equals cake, then we'll print your phrase is cake. But if our phrase does not equal cake, then we'll say your phrase does not equal cake. Alright, let's run this. Your phrase is cake. Okay, good, so this worked. But let's consider the other side of the condition, and what if our phrase did not equal cake? Then of course the computer would overlook this and it would turn to the else statement over here. So let's see if that works. Let's change cake to pie. Okay, your phrase does not equal cake. Perfect. Alright, so I'm gonna wrap up this video right here, but keep your eyes open for a conditions challenge. And basically what the challenge is that we'll give you a bunch of practice problems so that you can practice a certain concept, and it's going to involve many other concepts as well. So you're probably going to use scanner and if conditions in this one as well. So thank you for watching. Please hit that like button if you liked it. If not, you can give it a dislike, but just tell us why. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.